Hey guys, this is Mr. Recaps. In this video, I'm going to explain a movie called Oldboy, released in the year 2013. I'm warning you of spoilers. Stay tuned. The picture starts in the year 1993 with a man, Joe, urinating on the side of the road and pouring alcohol into a juice glass with a straw. Joe arrived at his workplace. He is an advertising executive, and the receptionist informed him that his ex-wife had called him. He was sitting in his office when his boss came into his room and informed him about the importance of the meeting he was going to have today. Joe receives a phone call from his ex-wife, Donna Hawthorne, who is furious because she told him 3 weeks ago about their 3-year-old daughter Mia's birthday. Due to a meeting, Joe informs Donna that he will be unable to attend the party. Later that night, he meets with a possible customer for supper. Joe's concept is liked by the customer and he agrees to work with him. When he departs to attend to a call, Joe begins flirting with the customer's girlfriend and making unwanted approaches towards her. When the customer arrives back, he smacks Joe for insulting his girlfriend. He even cancelled the prior agreed upon contract. Joe, disappointed, becomes drunk and walks home. When his drink ran out, he approached one of his friends, Chucky, and asked for a drink. His friend declines the alcohol and asks if he wants coffee instead. He pauses on his way to buy a gift for his daughter's birthday. He falls unconscious on his way home after witnessing a mysterious woman with a yellow umbrella. When he wakes up, he is naked in what appears to be a hotel room, and he believes the mystery woman has brought him here for a good time. He stands up and rushes to the bathroom, where he hears the sound of a shower. Joe inquires whether anyone is in the restroom, but no one answers from within, so he enters the bathroom where no one is there. He started searching the room but couldn't find anything. He tries to beat on the door for help but quickly realizes that there is merely a sticker on the door, not the actual thing. After some time, a man approaches from a small window and provides him with food and alcohol. After a while, he examines the dinner and notices that they have sent him vodka and dumplings. It doesn't take long for Joe to discover he's being abducted and trapped inside the room, which has nothing but a bellhop picture on the wall, a steaming shower, and a TV that shows the news and occasionally workout programs. After days have passed, Joe is still confined in the chamber. He has no idea who kidnapped him and is only given food and alcohol on a daily basis by his kidnappers. Suddenly, his kidnappers pump a sleeping gas into the room that makes Joe unconscious so that they can take his fingerprints and clean the room as well. After a few weeks, Joe turns on the television and hears the news broadcasting claiming that his ex-wife Donna is savagely beaten to death. Joe is accused of the murder of his ex-wife and police are hunting for him everywhere. Officers transport his 3-year-old daughter Mia to be adopted through the welfare system. Days slip into weeks and weeks into years, yet Joe remains confined. He met a mouse in the washroom one day and became friends with him since he needed someone to talk to. The mouse was pregnant and she gave birth in the bathroom. Joe was overjoyed, but he didn't see them the next day. The mouse and his babies were sent to him as a meal when his lunch was brought. After seeing this, he smashed his head into a mirror, then sliced his wrists with a piece of mirror. When he wakes up though, he realizes that his wrist injury has been treated. Joe understands that he is always being monitored by hidden cameras. Through a television broadcast, Joe discovers that his daughter Mia has been adopted. Joe is proud of his grown-up daughter who is learning to play the cello. He then writes Mia a letter explaining that she gave him hope that one day he would be able to live and see her again. Joe chooses to make a change and stops drinking. When they bring him vodka now, he simply flushes it down the toilet. He also starts working out to get in shape so that he can free himself and rejoin Mia. He made a list of his adversaries and began questioning the kidnappers from within the room in the hopes that they would respond. During this prison, he wrote many letters to Mia. Joe is becoming physically and psychologically stronger every day. He spends the next 20 years attempting to break out of the room. When he realized there was no camera in the bathroom, he began drilling a hole in the wall. Joe also memorized the name of the restaurants from where the food was delivered to him. He ultimately succeeds in establishing a path to the outer world. But just as he was ready to flee, he returned to his room to grab his letters and then saw a TV interview with his daughter. who still hates him for killing her mother but is prepared to forgive him if he ever meets him. He gets knocked out shortly after sleeping gas is released in the room. He awakens in the outer world in a trunk with some money, a mobile phone, and a pair of black goggles. Joe begins by smelling the grass in his immediate vicinity. He notices the mysterious woman with the yellow umbrella. Joe started pursuing the mysterious woman, but she vanished. Then he meets Marie Sebastian, a nurse who helps people in need. Marie handed Joe her business card and told him to call her if he needed any assistance. He goes to his friend Chucky's pub later that night and tells him everything that's happened to him in the last 20 years. Joe was talking to Chucky when he received a call from a mysterious individual who introduced himself as the Stranger. He informs Joe that if he wants to find peace, he must figure out what he did, or who he hurt deliberately or inadvertently, and why he has been in prison for the last 20 years. Joe urged Chucky to assist him in reviewing his enemies list, which he had compiled while in prison. He is unable to discover the offender though, and eventually falls out of thirst. Chucky tries to rouse him awake, but Joe does not reply until Chucky notices a card in his hand. As a result, Chucky seeks help from Marie. Marie inquired about his condition through Chucky, who informed her that he had been imprisoned for 20 years. She also discovers a number of letters written by Joe to Mia. Marie finds out about what happened to Joe through the letters and is deeply affected. Marie says she believes him and wants to assist him in locating the assailant. Joe accepts her assistance and the two of them embark on a search for the Stranger. After some searching, Joe finds a Chinese restaurant, the same one that provided him with meals when he was kept hostage. Joe went there and tried different flavors of dumplings to match the one they provided him in prison. He waits for the person who buys the specific dumplings from the restaurant. Joe then chases the delivery person to a warehouse, which is also where he was held captive. Then he went inside the room with the dumplings and encountered the proprietor, Cheney. Joe ties him to the table and starts torturing him with the knife to his neck. Cheney subsequently discloses that he just manages the facility where individuals are transported to be imprisoned by their rivals. When Joe returns to Chucky's pub, he discovers the Stranger, there also with his bodyguard and the woman with the yellow umbrella. Joe tries to kill the Stranger, but the bodyguard controls him quickly. The Stranger claims to have abducted his daughter Mia, but if Joe can figure out the Stranger's identity and the cause of his 20-year confinement in 46 hours, he'll free Mia, give Joe $20 million in diamonds, and commit suicide as proof of Joe's innocence in Donna's murder. The Stranger also shows Joe a live video of the nurse Marie who was tortured by Cheney's man. Joe agrees to his requirements and hurries to Marie's house to save her, instead being ambushed by Cheney's men. Just as he is about to torture Joe, Cheney receives a call from the Stranger, who offers him a substantial sum of money in exchange for Joe's release. Marie wants to stay with her friend for just a while since she is afraid of being alone. Joe receives a phone call from the Stranger just as Marie is ready to depart. Joe informs Marie that the same ringtone sounds every time the Stranger phones him. Marie runs a music identification tool on her phone and discovers that the Stranger's call's ringtone is the Evergreen Academy theme tune. It's the same academy where Joe used to study, but now it's closed. With the help of Marie, Joe locates the location of the school's headmistress, Edwina Burke. Joe slips in through the back entrance and finds his yearbook as Marie talks with Edwina. While looking through all of the classmates, Joe notices a student called Adrian Doyle Price. Later, Joe informs Marie of Adrian's whereabouts and instructs her to email his photograph to his friend Chucky. Chucky, on the other hand, is unfamiliar with Adrian. Marie afterwards takes a bath. She then comes from the restroom and fixes Joe's bandages. They kiss and mate passionately after that. The Stranger is observing them through concealed cameras unknown to them. In the meantime, Chucky conducts some internet investigation and discovers that the Stranger is none other than Adrian. Chucky phones Joe right away and leaves a message for him saying that it's all about Adrian's sister, Amanda. Because the Stranger, Adrian, has complete access to Joe's phone, he deletes the message before Joe ever receives it. Adrian then goes to Chucky's bar and kills him. Marie and Joe get into the Evergreen Academy premises and discover Adrian and Amanda's records. When Joe and Amanda were in school together, Joe remembered bullying her. He discovered Amanda mating with an elderly man in the greenhouse one night. Joe discovers that the man he saw in the greenhouse was Amanda's biological father. When Joe and Marie get back to their car, they discover a package containing Chucky's tongue. Marie is terrified and she does not want Joe to pursue Adrian. On the other hand, Joe makes her promise not to leave the hotel room and to allow him to go after Adrian by himself. He then proceeds to Adrian's penthouse to assassinate Adrian. He slits the umbrella woman's throat to murder her and confronts Adrian. Joe informs him that he is aware of his identity and what he witnessed in the greenhouse. Joe tormented Amanda by calling her names, and a rumor of Amanda's coupling with an elderly man quickly spread. Amanda and Adrian's father killed his children, his wife, and then committed suicide, fearing that their family secret would have been exposed. Adrian, on the other hand, was saved and rushed to the hospital. Adrian informs Joe that his father cared deeply for him and Amanda and that his father's abuse was a manifestation of that love. He holds Joe responsible for his family's demise. Adrian takes him to the set of the show that Joe used to watch while inside. Adrian admits that he made up the performance in order to persuade Joe that the Mia he saw on TV was his daughter. He had hired a professional actress to appear as Mia. Adrian also discloses that the actual Mia was adopted and given the name Marie by a couple. Joe realizes that Marie is his daughter and is heartbroken to learn that he has mated with his own child. Adrian reveals that he let Joe leave because he wanted him to experience what it's like to lose everything. Adrian then shoots himself in the mouth to kill himself. Joe is mortified by what he's done and can't bear to see Marie again. He sends Marie a letter in which he informs her that they will never see each other. He delivers her the gift he bought for Mia 20 years ago, as well as the majority of the diamonds. He then pays Cheney to return him to his hotel room confinement. And so, the movie has come to an end. If you've got a passion for movies and everything about them, Mr. Recaps is your destination. Subscribe for more videos like this, hit the notification bell icon, and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, peace.